Welcome to this overview of CHP. During this video I'll show you some of the functionality available to you in CHP, but for more in-depth look please check out the other videos on this channel where I go into more specific detail on all the different areas. Okay. The first thing I should explain is that CHP is a browser-based application and we recommend that users use Google Chrome. One of the advantages of CHP is that you can run very large searches which you're not able to do in PMS. So for example, I can type London and then over the past month, and then if we just hit the magnifying glass there, you'll see that I've returned over 560,000 results from that search. And by pressing N on the thumbnail, I can now see information on the side there, so that when I click on one of these thumbnails, I'm now refreshing that information. I can see stuff like the caption and provider and stuff for that image. The other thing we've got is folders in CHP, and I can just select multiple images by holding down Control or Shift and then just dragging thumbnails over to these folders, and they will now link. But a new feature that's available to you in CHP is you can select images and link them to a folder by using a keyboard shortcut. So if I just click on this folder and then press 3 across the top of my keyboard, and you can use numbers 1 to 9, now whenever I select an image or multiple images and press the number 3 or 1 to 9, they will now link to that folder, and then when I hold down that number for about a second or so, it will actually open up the folder. Another great advantage of CHP is the direct link between CHP and Photoshop. So you just select a thumbnail and press E to launch it into Photoshop, and you can then amend that image. So I'm just going to crop this one, but you might want to change the brightness or levels or something on an image, and then you can save it directly back into CHP. So no sort of exporting onto your desktop and then finding your image and then bringing it into Photoshop that way. There's that direct link by just pressing E, and then you've got another keyboard shortcut to save it back into CHP. Just going further into that Photoshop integration, one of the advantages is that you can create composites within CHP. So I'm going to select a couple of images just here and then press C on my keyboard to build a composite, and then I'm going to give it a name. The name's not that important, but I'm just going to type out test composite here, and that then builds a group which is called a composite. And then you can launch those images all in one go into Photoshop, and that's now going to build a layered file for me, a layered canvas. Okay, so that's then copied and pasted those images onto there, and then you can amend that composite how you see fit. So I'm just going to mock something up here quite quickly. So let's just rescale that image. Obviously I'm not going into much detail here, but then let's just grab that guy and just move him a bit more up into there we go. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. You can save it directly back into CHP, and you can also give it a label of what composite type it is. So I'm just going to call this a banner, but you can label it up as a large preview, a 308. You've got all those options just there. And then let's go back to CHP. And what you'll see is if I just close this composite panel just here, you'll now see in this results list that thumbnail has now got a green background indicating that it's actually a composite. You can actually run searches for whatever asset type you want. So if you wanted to run a search, let's say for this guy, but you only want images, if I just grab his name for the information panel here and copy it, I'm then going to go to my picture search. You can use the letter S to open a picture search, or just go to the magnifying glass and the camera up there. Let's just paste his name into this picture search and then hit return, and now you'll see all the pictures of that guy. Okay, so just pictures. If I want to return composites that contain this guy, I just go up to the magnifying glass and select the compound search, and now when I enter his name and hit return, I find all composites with any images of him in. And the last option available to you is an all assets search. So again, just going up to magnifying glass and selecting the bottom option there, just paste his name in again. And now when I put his name in that search criteria there, I'm going to get both composites and images. Okay, so depending on what you want to return from your search, it depends on what search panel you use. If I just go back to this results list, another nice feature available to you in CHP is viewing images in full screen mode. So let's just select a number of images by holding down Shift, and then select those images there, then press equals, and that will now launch those images into full screen. You can then use your right arrow to scroll through those images. And actually, if you draw a marquee over an image, so let's just draw a marquee over this image just here. There we go. And you can actually zoom in again. You can see that you're zooming into that image every time you draw. By pressing return takes you to the full image, and escape takes you back to CHP. A new concept that's available to you in CHP is a functionality called personal folders. Now, personal folders is an area where you would store a selection of images for yourself, but as a default, users have two folders available to them, which is My Tagged Items and My Viewed Items. Let me just start with My Viewed Items. As the name would suggest, whenever you double click on an image and open it, it will add to your My Viewed Items list. And so in that folder, you will actually see images you have viewed over the last 24 hours. So when I go back to my results list and double click on an image and then close it, double click on another image and then close it, you will see that those images have now been added to My Viewed Items. So it's a nice way of finding images you would have viewed maybe a number of hours ago. The other folder is My Tagged Items. So when I select a thumbnail and press the letter T, you'll see that it's tagging them, and then you can then hold down the letter T to then open up that folder, and you've then tagged those images, and you might want to pre-sort them by using that tagging and then use them in that folder. Okay, so that's tagging. The other thing you do is from the information panel, and that's N just to open it up, if you highlight a search term and then hit your / key, you'll see that that runs a nice quick search. So rather than having to copy that name and then paste it into the search panel, just highlight the term and then press your / key. As a default, all results lists are set to not refresh in CHP, but when you do go up to the top left hand corner and click on refresh, you'll see that new images come in with a blue background. So it's a nice indication that these are the images that you won't have previously seen. Okay. A great feature is the fact that you can set these searches to search every 1 minute, and then you can separate that panel and then minimize it, and it creates a tab over on the right hand side. Every 1 minute that search is going to rerun, and when new images come in you'll see a blue number. When you click on that tab and open up the panel, you'll see again with a blue background all of those new images. So rather than you having to rerun searches and you're unaware of whether new images have come in, it's a nice way of running multiple searches and then getting that visual prompt of a number to say, yes, this amount of images has come in over this time period. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of this new functionality available to you, and I hope you enjoy using CHP. Please refer to the other videos on my channel for a more in-depth look at all the different areas within CHP.